Gjør klart til opptak. Fluffer?
No.
Please, 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 please.
You're still playing detective. How quick?
I can assure you that I can get to the bottom of this for a never so professional fee.
Murder, missing treasure, ghosts.
9 lives, this one.
Hello, welcome to Unrestricted View Film Festival. My name's James Wren and I'm the festival director. For this episode, I'm joined by Dan March and Alan Francis, who are the writers of the feature-length screenplay Punchline. Hi guys, thanks for joining us today.
Hello, nice to see you, James. Hello, hello.
How are you?
Before we talk about the screenplay, I've been asking everyone in these interviews, obviously the last year has been horrible. You know, how has it affected, because I know you're both comedians and actors as well. So, I mean, how has the last year affected you?
Shall I go first, Alan?
Yeah, go on, Dan.
Go on, because I'll say that theatre obviously decimated. I had 3 theatre jobs coming up before lockdown, and so that just went completely. And obviously, from a comedy standpoint, live comedy gone. But having said that, I've been very, very lucky with a good voiceover agent who basically right at the start of lockdown said, buy in all the voiceover stuff and set yourself up and do voiceovers. So I did that. And my agent also got me some filming work during lockdown, which involved some quarantining in Ireland, outside Dublin in Dunleary for an ITV drama, which will be out later this year. And I did a little bit on EastEnders on their set, which is very odd, all that social distancing. Everything was social distancing. So couldn't even hand over pieces of paper, had to be shot. It was all cheated. So I've been lucky to get through. And I've been working with Alan, writing with Alan, which has kept me sane.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's been a great joy to work with Dan, and you know, most especially as we do it over Zoom and we don't have to be in the same room together. It's, that makes it even bigger joy. No, actually, we did write together during that sort of in between the first lockdown and the other, the sort of November. We were able to work together. But yeah, I mean, I found it quite devastating, of course. I mean, I had quite a nice, healthy diary in terms of live stand-up comedy work and all that in the beginning of 2020. And of course, that all went. And I don't have quite the same infrastructure as Dan in terms of doing stuff live. So I was kind of really, I was on universal credit and all that sort of stuff, you know, just, and you really sort of, you know, you realize, you know, you sort of go through your life kind of thinking, oh, universal credit is probably okay, but actually it's not. You suddenly realize how horrifying Ian Duncan Smith actually is.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, right. So Punchline, I loved it. I thought it was a fantastic script. So just for the sake of, obviously, because it's film festival, obviously people can't see this yet because it hasn't been filmed. So
Not yet.
Can you just tell us the synopsis? Tell us the story of Punchline.
Right. It's an aging stand-up. Shall I? I'll do half, and then
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah. Go
I'll
for
open
it
it up and you close the door. I'm not normally like this, actually. It's normally Alan that sort of does all the talking.
Yeah, no, that's right. No, but I think Dan. Time I shut up.
So there's an aging stand-up who is sort of in the twilight of his career. He's had sort of a near brush with fame in his youth, but his various demons have got in the way. But then he gets another chance. He gets another shot at fame. And yeah, Alan, finish it off.
Well, I felt there was when we were talking about this at first, Dan and I, there was a film which you probably remember, James, Mickey Rourke did, called The Wrestler.
Yes.
Which and I just thought, and The Wrestler is a guy who's sort of going around the wrestling, doing these gigs that are really low rent and bloody awful. And when I was seeing The Wrestler, I was thinking, this is just like the stand-up comedy circuit for when you get into your sort of late 40s and 50s. This is what it's like, doing 90% of the gigs you do are not very glamorous. You get the odd glamorous gig, obviously, which sort of stops you from ending it all. But and so I just thought it'd be quite a good idea to do a film similar to The Wrestler in a way, but about a stand-up. And then, of course, Dan fleshed it out with all sorts of fantastic ideas of how to, to give the character a daughter who is. And then Dan had the idea of making her in a wheelchair and stuff like that, and that just added a whole other
backstory
dimension to it. All that backstory. So it's kind of like an amalgamation of sort of bitter middle-aged stand-up comedian but he's got a heart, I think.
Yeah, he's got a heart, but he's got demons as well. And I think that's the thing that we all have, and Alan's got a huge experience of the stand-up circuit. I've done it, on and off over the last 20 years as well. And so we were able to bring that wealth of experience and our knowledge of the circuit to it, but also, those people who've had that shot at it and then for various reasons not being able to really grab onto that because they've got various demons, and how you kind of cope with that. And, it's such an easy thing to get sucked into a bit of drink and drugs on the circuit.
So easy, I mean, and that's the thing. It's been the downfall of many a talented, brilliant comedian. I mean, there are some. I mean, there are people out there, we won't say any names, but there are comedians out there who are some of the best comedians in the country that nobody's ever heard of. But they have a multitude of different reasons why they haven't broken through, and alcohol and drugs can be quite a major one.
Yeah, but we wanted the story to also be like a redemption story as well. The positives in there, that it is ultimately uplifting. I think sometimes, one of the big issues we talked about is like, what do characters want and what do they need? And it's great to get drama out of the fact that if it's something you want, isn't actually what you need. And that was kind of, we felt that here was a guy who was absolutely brilliant at stand-up, but actually doing stand-up was very destructive for him. And
it was destroying his life.
Yeah, and that was the driving force through the film, I think. And he has people around him who support him, also who are destructive towards him as well, and that push-pull throughout. And we wanted a story that just sort of takes you on a journey, basically. Once you start on it, whoosh, you're off. So it's quite linear in that sense, but also, I hope, universal in and we've had great fun writing it, and hopefully it's funny. There's lots of Alan stand-up in there and new stand-up we've written as well.
There's quite a lot of old stand-up I used to do, and new stuff that Dan and I wrote together, which is in there. So and it's great to be able to do. I mean, like, there's a scene, one of my favorite scenes in it actually, when it's a flashback scene when he has a chance. Now, there was this is kind of a little bit Cognito, dear old Cogs, who we lost him a couple of years ago, but he famously had a show, I think it may have been at the Soho Theatre, or it was somewhere like, it was a decent venue in London, and there was quite a lot of the glitterati of television had come, because he'd had a successful Edinburgh run, Cogs, and he came down and he just came on stage and just basically told, Channel 4, BBC, all of them, you're just all a bunch of, and it's all so that was kind of, our character's got a little bit of that in him,
Yeah. Fantastic. So I mean, you were saying you were writing obviously remotely through a lot of this. So I mean, how the process of that? How does that work? Do you just sort of chat and then go away and do some writing each and share it, or do you actually write whilst you're on Zoom?
No, we write while we're on Zoom. I mean, Dan does most of the actual keyboard warrior stuff, and we basically the keyboard warrior stuff.
Yeah. Slow down, Alan. Slow down.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, and so yeah, I mean, we will improvise scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that thing of thinking, what does a scene? I mean, you know, we're both kind of sort of students of Robert McKee in a way, you know, and that kind of stuff of get into a scene early, leave a scene late, and all that, those kind of rules that are so useful when you're writing a screenplay, you know, to start a scene late when it's already there, and to once the scene's done its job, leave it. And
I think we've benefited. Alan was very anti-Zoom because we've always written in the room, and when lockdown happened, I said, should we try writing over Zoom? And Alan said, no, I want to be in the room with you. I want to be in the room with you, because he's, you know, there is a real energy when you're in the room together. Yeah. But with Zoom, we found that, you know, just sharing the screen. So I've got Final Draft software, so we use that. Other softwares are available, and we're typing away, and so we can see it. But also, because we're both actors, it really helps when we're just improvising or reading out what we've already written and just getting into the flow of it. And yeah, I think that's been really enjoyable from that standpoint, is just sort of bringing those characters to life and going, oh yeah, now what if we put them in the worst possible situation there, or what if that happened to them, and then just trying that. And we only did probably about 3 or 4 rewrites on Punchline, I think. Yeah. And they were more, I mean, character stuff, I think.
The first draft was we were quite fastidious, I think. But then we did about, I would say 3 or 4 further drafts.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So what's next? So let's start with you, Dan. So what have you got coming up next?
All right. Well, we're writing another screenplay, funny enough. We're about probably about a quarter of the way through. Well, we've written the first 30 pages, but it's quite a beast. And it's not a comedy. It's a thriller. Which but I probably shouldn't. I'm not going to reveal anything.
Watch this space. Yes. Or if not this space, a space near it.
Yeah. We'll enter it to next year's film fest, which we're really looking forward to. Thank you so much for this as well. It's we never entered it into anything. We just sort of wrote it and sent it to a couple of producers who have hopefully read it or might read it now, because you guys have championed it. So we're really pleased about that.
That's it, you know.
So pleased. What's next? I mean, I just more writing with Alan. I've also written a play with another actor that hopefully I'd like to get on later this year. It's a 2-hander. And just hopefully with the world opening up, just, you know, some more auditions and filming. And I just filmed a little thing for a Sky series with Sir Kenneth Branagh as Boris Johnson. So that'll be next year. But yeah, so, you know, bits and pieces, but I'm hoping now that things are opening up that there'll be more to come. And being in the room with Alan, that's what's next. Being actually in the room.
In the room, that's the thing.
Yeah.
How about you, Alan?
I'm back. You know, my diary is gigs are starting to go in from June onwards. I mean, I have sort of gigs and stuff all the way up till Christmas, but not really enough at the moment to, you know, order the champagne. But things are starting to happen, you know, and I've been doing, like Dan, a couple of voiceovers, things like that, you know, which have been a godsend. I did a voiceover for an animation just recently, which was quite nice. It's just, again, it's just, apart from anything else, it's just nice to do stuff, you know. So hopefully, you know, things will build. But I mean, I tended to do a lot of theatre back before, in the old days, pre-COVID. And now I'm sort of trying to concentrate on maybe trying to do this kind of stuff rather than I'm not sure what the future is for theatre. I love the theatre. There's nothing I love better than being in a play, but I'm not sure how long it'll be before we can do that.
Yeah.
I'm more optimistic. I think with, you know, everyone, or pretty much everyone vaccinated, and I think that, you know, June we'll know more and more about how that's affected the, you know, cases, etc. And I'm hopeful that we'll be back to as near to normality as we possibly can.
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, Alan, you've been auditioning for some big things. You know, you've got some irons in the fire.
Yeah. I've got a few irons in the fire. You know, I'm just waiting. There's a thing that I might be doing with a co-production between STV and Channel 4, which you know, it's one of those things where the director wants me and the producer of the program wants me, but it's the execs at Channel 4 just have to tick the box. But hopefully they will, because they have no idea how shit I am, these people. You know, the wool is pulled well over their eyes, you know.
Fantastic. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us today.
Hey,
and
lovely to see you.
Congratulations.
Great haircut, James. Great haircut.
Yeah.
And congratulations again on a brilliant script. I really, really loved it and laughed out loud on several occasions, you know, as I was
Thanks
reading.
a lot.
You can get tickets for the Unrestricted View Film Festival at unrestrictedview.co.uk or uvff.co.uk. Thanks, guys, and I'll speak to you all soon.
Yay.
Cheers.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.